I'm heading for a dirt road in my four-wheel drive. Yeah, I clocked out, I'm done. Grab that shotgun, slip off through the pines. Calling to my baby, tell her I'll be gone. I can't stick around getting out of town. Be back when I get back home. You'll find me out there where it's wild and free. Anywhere there's fresh air, you know I'm gonna be. Live in the wildlife on the road out in the woods. Yeah, man, if this ain't heaven, it's in the neighborhood. Fins, fur, or feathers, just put them in my sights. Cause I'm living the wildlife. Taking in the morning, waiting for the dawn. On a creek bank calling, long beard's gobbling, time to get it on. Down in the swampland, baiting up a line. If you can't see me, then I might be hiding in an old duck blind. Up on the river, in the morning fog, throwing that old crankbait by Cypress Lawn. I'm living the wildlife, I don't need no luxury. Just a fishing pole and a honey hole, or a bow up in a tree. Running up that 10-point in the early morning light. Cause I'm living the wildlife. The wildlife, that's my life. Don't ask me why, but just know that I'm living the wildlife.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the third episode of Living the Wildlife with Ole Bob. And once again, I'm your host, Ole Bob. Hope everybody's doing well. Had a lot of stuff happened since the last time we visited. Our 740-acre lake out here has some dam issues. Unfortunately, we're down to about 500 acres now, and dropping a little bit. Going to take a couple of months to get that repaired due to all the rainfall that we've had. Also, what the silver lining is I need to do some dock work, and right now I just can walk out there and take care of that. So that's kind of good. But on this episode, we're going to jump up there to Rising, Arkansas, by way of this magic Zoom, and speak with professional bass fisherman Mr. Marty Scudder. He's going to give us a few tips to the in and outs of just regular everyday bass fishing, not on the pro circuit, but the guy that just wants to go to the pond, or guys and gals that may be on take your family to a state park or whatever, and he's going to give us some tips for that. And one thing I want to do, I want to answer a question that was asked on the last episode, and that was, now I'm in Mississippi, can you legally use a cable for a gate across a roadway? And the answer that I found checking with several law enforcement officials was that yes, you can. However, just because it's not illegal does not lessen you from the responsibilities and the risk if somebody gets injured. In other words, if somebody's on an ATV and they get clotheslined with this, you can be held liable and held responsible. So if you decide to do this, then you would want to make sure that you put some rags or some ribbons or some reflective tape or whatever to make sure that people can see this as they're approaching there for whatever reason, especially the younger generation we've got there now on ATVs, and I know nobody really wants to get anybody hurt. So just keep that in mind. You can use a cable, my understanding, but you have the responsibility of making sure that it can be visible and seen. The other thing is, I got a little video from Pelham. He couldn't get in touch with me anyway, so he just left it on my phone. And Hewley's up to some, it's amazing what the man can do with a tractor tire, is the best way I can put it. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. Hewley vents to Pelham. Pelham vents to me, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to throw it out there so I can vent to you a little bit. Anyway, take a look at this and feel my pain. So hope you enjoy.
Bob, you ain't gonna believe what Hewley just did. It's the last day of turkey season, my one chance to get a long-legged, big-breasted chicken, my wife not be jealous over it, and that son of a... Bob, are you listening to this? He called me 15 times in the middle of my calling this morning with a gobbler right over the hill. When I called Hewley back, you ain't gonna believe what he told me. Got in touch with him, he was all in a panic, told me he needed me to go get one of them old tractor tires of mine and run it down there to his trailer just as quick as I could get there. So, well, hell, Hewley, what you need one of them old tractor tires for, and why you need it so bad? He said, man, I need you to get it here before Florine gets home. I said, why you got to have it before she gets home? He said, well, I was sitting in my incliner working on that old shotgun of mine that won't reject them shells. That's his words, not mine. He said, when all of a sudden I blowed a hole right through the roof of the double wide. I said, well, hell, Hewley, how's me bringing you a tractor tire gonna fix the hole in your double wide? He said, well, it ain't, but if I get it here before Florine gets home, I can tell her it fell off one of them airplanes. I said, Hewley, she's gonna know that didn't come off no airplane. And he got plumb mad at me. Said, hell, I ain't stupid. Hell, I'm gonna tell her it fell off of a crop duster. Bob, we gonna have to start drug testing that man. You better give him a call and talk some sense into him.
Well, there you go, guys. Just in case, you might just need to hang on to that old tractor tire and never can tell what kind of use, may come of it. There have been a lot of changes since we last visited. I've started a new paying job, traveling a lot. I hope to incorporate some of that into what we're doing here and maybe visit some people all across the Southeast. I burn up my Dell computer. I fried my hard drive. For people that know me and my IT magic box issues won't find that as being surprising. So bottom line is I lost pretty much all of my old stuff and I've had to recreate it, hence the reason that it's taking so long to get this one out. And anyway, let's go up to Rising, Arkansas and visit with Marty Scudder, and I'll see y'all when we get through. Hey everybody, today we're talking to professional bass fisherman Mr. Marty Scudder up in Rising, Arkansas. Marty is a professional bass fisherman. Like I said, he competes in the MLF Toyota Series Plains Division. Marty currently holds 52nd place of a posted field of 216. He's only 80 points out of the top 25, and he's climbing pretty rapidly. And we're glad to have him. And anyway, welcome to Living Wildlife, Marty.
Thank you, Bob.
And what we want to talk to you today about is pretty simple. My viewers, I kind of try and break it down. Got a lot of guys out there that are professional bass fishermen. I say fish a lot of tournaments, things of that nature. But also got a lot of people out there that just go on family vacations 2 or 3 times a year. Don't get to bass fish that much. Don't know an awful lot about it. And so I want to take it from their perspective. You go on a family vacation to a state park or whatever. And you want to go out and try your hand at a little bass fishing, but you're just not really sure what to do. So why don't you take it from there and kind of tell us what your side of that is?
If I'm a beginner and I'm looking at a place I don't go very often, try to get on Google Earth. Google Earth is a great resource, and just find areas where there's points. If it's a river where current flow might pass through a point or over a point, rocks, anything you can find, because bass hold the structure. And keep it simple. And that's one of the concepts that I've kind of gotten back to here lately, is trying to remove all the clutter from my brain and just keep it simple. And what I mean by that is simple baits, just obvious places. You hear the term community hole a lot. My last tournament, I placed 3rd in a community hole. And the reason I did is because I was fishing something nobody else was, a crankbait. They were all flipping jigs or, throwing frogs, or I don't know, but I was throwing a crankbait, and there were probably 10 other boats that I saw that day within 200 yards of me that didn't do worth anything. But I wound up getting 3rd just by going back to the basics, keeping it simple. When there's rocks, you throw a crankbait. You're going to get hung up a little bit, but that's just the nature of the beast. If you're not getting hung up, you're not where the fish So that's what I would say. Start with your simple baits that you don't have to work a lot: crankbait, spinnerbait, worm, jig, and even your top water baits, buzz baits. Just depending on what time of the year it is, as to what I would work. Springtime, you want to use something a lot slower than you do in the summer. And in the wintertime, you want to slow it down even more.
What about color? What part does that play?
It actually plays a big part. And when you talk about color, the first thing you want to look at is watercolor. What color's the water I'm fishing? If it's dirty, dingy, you need something with a little chartreuse on it, or you need a dark color. And a lot of people say, well, what do you mean dark color and dark water? Well, if you look at a black crankbait, and I fish this a lot in the river, the Arkansas River, dirty river, just like the Mississippi. When you see black coming through, you actually see it further than you do a natural colored bait. They're not necessarily looking at the color of the bait at that point. It's all a reaction bite. Same thing with a worm. If you're throwing a green pumpkin worm in muddy water, you're not going to get near as many bites as you do with a black worm in muddy water, simply because it's easier for the fish to detect, to see. In clear water, it's actually the same thing. If I'm fishing real clear water, you want a dark colored bait. Or at least that's the way I am. Now, just meaty, I don't know, green water would be the way I would describe it. Something that's not real clear, something I can see down 3 or 4 feet. That's when I go to my natural colors. That's when they work best. And again, depending on the color of water, whether you want to use white, a more natural crawdad color, your green pumpkins, watermelon colors, those are all going to work better in your clear to 3 to 4 foot of visibility water.
Okay. All right. And I guess, when you go to, and I hate to use the W word, but that big store that has a lot of stuff that sometimes we're all forced to go to, is there anything specific like on reel speed or retrieval speed, something priced right that you need to look for?
The reel speed, and I have reels of all different speeds. Reel speed is really determined by the temperature of the water. In the winter, you're not going to fish anything fast because a bass they're not in the mood. They're not going to chase something and burn energy when they're trying to conserve energy. So whatever you fish, you want to fish it slow. As you move into the spring, you can speed it up. And if I'm fishing a crankbait, I'm going to reel just barely crawl that thing in the winter. When I move into the spring, I'm going to pick it up to maybe a medium retrieve. In the summer, I can get to a little faster retrieve. And you've got different reel and rod combinations for that. But the basic individual that's going on a vacation, maybe spending some time on the water, just a good medium action rod with probably a 6.5 to 1 gear ratio is going to be the best all around setup for them. If you can get 2 rods, get you a medium heavy and put a 6.5 to 1 gear ratio on it. In the summer, a lot of times I'll get around lily pads. Arkansas, we have a lot of water lily, a lot of lily pads, a lot of moss that grows in certain areas, and it'll grow to the top. And I love fishing the frog. You fish a frog on top, and when you get to blow ups, it's addicting. It is addicting. And that's one of the things this past tournament I had to get away from, because I got on a frog bite. But the day before the tournament, that frog bite died.
Really?
And yes, and I had to retrace my steps and think, okay, I can go chase this frog bite, or I can go back to the basics, do what I know was going to catch fish, and go catch fish. It was real tempting though to go hunt those frog fish down.
I'm fishing for position and not fishing for just necessarily fun. But yeah, I've experienced that a couple of times. We worked that frog on top of those lily pads, and it just explodes, and it's a feeling like nothing else.
It is. That is a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
What about line weight, like or test? Do you recommend a 14?
The clear, yeah. The clearer the water, the lighter the line. Yes, when I'm fishing a clear water lake, I won't use anything more than 12-pound test, and that's if I'm dragging a jig 25 feet deep. Most time I'm going to be using 8-pound test and a small bait. I did real well up on where was it? In Oklahoma, Grand Lake, about a month back. In the Toyota series, I placed, I think it was 21st. I had 17 pounds the second day, and got in an area where all I did was I threw a 4-inch centipede on a spot remover head, and 16 of that 17 pounds came in the last 4 hours off that one bait. I'd been throwing a spinner bait. I'd been throwing a crankbait, and they just weren't hitting it. And at noon, when I had one fish in the boat, I decided to make a change. And within the last 3 hours, I caught 16 pounds worth of fish on that little centipede with a spot remover head.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, I don't even think I answered your question, Bob. In clear water, light line, I never fish more than 20-pound test. And normally that's if I'm flipping bushes or something, and that will be in a little, what I would call stained water, 3 or 4 foot of visibility. And then if I get in muddy water, or if I'm fishing, flipping mats, or fishing in lily pads or something, I'm going to have 65-pound braid tied on. Anytime you're on a top water bite, right, you can get away with 65-pound braid, because that line, they're not paying attention to that line. They're paying attention to that bait on top of the water.
Gotcha. That's good stuff. I've learned a lot here myself. In the pre-interview, I didn't ask you this question, but I got one final question. And so I'm going to catch you a little bit off guard. Let's just say that there's a tournament. You don't know where it's at. You do know it's freshwater. It's definitely a bass tournament. You're allowed to pack 4 baits in your tackle box.
Oh man,
that's all you can. I know one of them's going to be a frog, but that's all you can do. And then we're going to tell you where you're going. So what's your 4 baits going to be?
I'm going to have a little 1/2 ounce jig with a speed crawl trailer. I'm going to have a crankbait in a shad color. I'm going to have that little 4-inch centipede, because I fish that a lot when things are tough. And then I'm probably going to have a top water. I would go with a spinner bait, because not knowing what time of year I'm fishing, or it's hard to choose a top water. If you're fishing in 55-degree water, you're not going to get bit on top water. So if I don't know what time of year it is, I'm not taking a top water.
Yeah, I guess I kind of dated myself with that question, because I'm asking myself the same. I don't know if I could come up with number 4, but back in the day, I'm talking about way back in the day, it'd be a devil horse, a yellow Sally, and a purple worm.
There you go.
And that was it, and you started off with that. You fished those 3 and you went from there. So
Well, see, I didn't get that specific. I gave you the types of baits and not colors.
That's it. That's even better. That's even better. All right. Well, Marty, we appreciate it. And I invite our viewers to follow you. That's Marty Scudder. If you just Google Marty Scudder, it'll pop up to that site. Take a look at him. Follow him in his endeavors and wish him well. And we look forward to talking to Marty. Also, we're going to come back to you later. I understand that you raise, train, and also field trial retrievers. So
I do.
That's going to be another segment, but we definitely want to talk to you about that. I know you're a big duck hunter up in Arkansas, and Arkansas, that's a very big pastime. So we appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Anytime. I appreciate it, Bob.
Thank you, brother. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it, something you can take with you on the next family vacation or next outing. Or I know I actually learned something from it, which is not hard to do. But I mean, I drink this smart water, but it doesn't really work. But anyway, I guess it does, because I was smart enough to know after I bought 3 or 4 of those things at $3 a pop, I could stop down there at the artesian well and fill them back up. So maybe I am getting smarter. I don't really know. But anyway, we appreciate you writing in to our on email and getting in contact with us. That email address will pop up at the end of this. And we look forward to hearing from you if you got any questions. We're enjoying doing this. We're going to continue to do it. Hopefully we can get a little better schedule from this point forward after I get everything downloaded back into my magic box here. And we appreciate you. You know, we hope you're having a good summer. Got a lot of good plans. You rest and just enjoy your family, and whatever you do, go out and create some memories. And every day, thank God that you get to live the wild life. Bye-bye.
Live in the wildlife on the road out in the woods. Yeah, man, if this ain't heaven, it's in the neighborhood. Fins, fur, or feathers, just put them in my sights, 'cause I'm living the wildlife. Skinning out that 10-point with my pocket knife. I'm living the wildlife.